Hello and welcome back to the Show Me Jeff channel. My name is Jeff and I am back from my trip to California. So I had this opportunity to go out and spend some time with a very successful businessman that I've known for years. I had this opportunity to go out and work for him for a few months. I decided to come back early. Everything worked out good. I learned a lot going out there to California, but I'm glad to be back home in Florida where I am from. So, if you missed me, I had put my direct mail business on hold while I went out to California, and I had some time to think about, where I wanted to go. I did a direct mail business for 3 months. I said I was going to give myself 6 to 9 months. I am backtracking on that, and I will explain why I am. But I decided that this is not the right time for me to be involved with this particular business. Made this conscious business decision. It's not that the program doesn't work. In fact, it does work, and it works for a lot of other people. But there is this saying that is out there that money-making programs are like plays in a football coach's playbook. They're all designed to win, but it all comes down to execution and the abilities of the person who is doing the plan, or either the player playing that play or the person who is implementing that business plan. So, for example, I know personally a guy an Army veteran who was completely broke. He was addicted to drugs. Um, he had no money. He didn't even have a car. And he went door to door. He cleaned himself up. He went door to door selling insurance, and he's now a seven-figure. He makes over $1 million a year. And I know other people who've gone door to door, making 30, 40, $50,000 a month, but they're going door to door. I want the money. I want that kind of opportunity and that kind of money, but I'm just going to be just completely truthful. I don't want to do that. I don't want to go door to door knocking on people's doors. I hate it when people knock on my door uninvited. When I'm not expecting any visitors, and I have somebody at the door, and I go to the Ring camera, and it's somebody trying to sell me something that I'm not in the market to buy, and it's extremely frustrating. And our homeowners association where I live, they're very rabid about they send out alerts and all that when there's a solicitor going through the neighborhood. And I guess some people are, take it a step further and they want to tell this person there's no soliciting in this neighborhood, and they want to call the cops or whatever. And this is the kind of stuff that you have to deal with if you are a door-to-door salesman. But there are people who make over $1 million a year selling door-to-door. And, if you're willing to step out of your comfort zone and do that, and you're willing to do it in that way, that makes a lot of sense. So when it comes to the direct mail business, again, I was doing it for 3 months. I didn't see during that 3 months a lot of success on my part, and a lot of it is because I wasn't interested at the time in branding myself. I didn't really. I was making these YouTube videos, but I wasn't really interested in making Facebook posts or Instagram posts. The gentleman who recommended me to the direct mail business, he's very successful in doing what he does, and he's built a brand around himself, and he's not afraid. He posts every day to Facebook. He makes videos every day. That works. That works for him. I just don't want to do that. And another reason why I don't want to do that is because my passion is travel. I was in the military for 20 years, and I lived 11 and a half years of that 20 years overseas. I had 5 overseas tours while I was in the Army on active duty. And then after I finished and retired from the military, I went into the State Department, and I had 5 overseas tours in the State Department. So I spent about 2 decades living my adult life overseas. And I've had 3 tours in Europe. I've had 1 tour in Africa. I've had 3 tours in South America. I've had 1 tour in the Middle East, in Saudi Arabia. I had 1 tour in Afghanistan and 1 tour in Asia. And traveling has always been a passion of mine. Going to faraway places, exotic places. I've learned a lot in my years, and I'm in my 50s. And what I really want to do is I want to have the opportunity to go, and this is something that I'm extremely passionate about. And working for this gentleman out in California says, you really should follow your passions. If this is what you're passionate about, then you need to go for it. You really need to your business should be built around your passions, right? If you're not passionate about knocking on doors, or if you're not passionate about sending out postcards, then maybe that's not the right business for you, right? People are making money in door-to-door sales. People are making money in drop shipping. People are making money in real estate, and people are making money in sending in direct mail. But not all of these businesses are right for each person. So a person who's good at selling solar, may not be a good drop shipper, right? And a person who's doing, building a brand around sending out direct mail may not be good at drop shipping or selling solar. We all have different gifts. We all have different skill sets. We all have different passions. I just particularly found that this was not something that I wanted to continue. It's not that it doesn't work. It does work. But you have to be completely committed to it. And that's with anything. That's all the different things that I have done. And I've had marginal success in a lot of different areas. But I will say that this is true. And if you're going to do something, and this is like the lesson learned from California, from my trip to California. If you're going to do something, you have to be all in. You got to put all your chips out, and you got to find one business. You can't be a dabbler. You got to have one really bodacious goal, and you're going to just go for it. And it needs to be something that you're completely passionate about. If you're just going to do it like as a hobby, you're going to lose money. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your money. Don't even get involved with it. If you know that like a lot of people, they want the money that comes with. They want the $1 million, but they're not willing to go, and they're not willing to do the work behind it, or they're not willing to take the risks, because there are risks involved. For sure there are risks involved. And you just have to be prepared to deal with those risks. And if you're not willing to take those risks, then don't do it. Now, like I said, my goal is I want to build businesses around my passions. And that's what I am going to be doing in the next, days, weeks, months ahead, is building businesses around my passion. The direct mail business is a good business. And I was just on some training today about YouTube, and initially I didn't want to make any YouTube videos. The guy who introduced me to the direct mail has built a brand and makes YouTube videos practically every day, and he posts to Facebook practically every day, and I think he might do Instagram and some other platforms. And I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't mind sending out the postcards or even doing the letters with my picture on it and all that, but I didn't really want to build a brand. But that's actually a really good idea. And I was on a YouTube training today, and this lady who's made millions of dollars is teaching this training, and she was saying that there's never been a better opportunity to get involved with YouTube than right now. And that's why I'm making this video right now tonight. It's 11:14 at night, but I wanted to capture this while it was still fresh on my mind, There's never been a better time to get involved, because what's going on right now is that we have the AI revolution happening right now, and all these people are creating content using AI, and they're creating faceless YouTube channels with faceless, content. There's like this information overload, and people are becoming wise to it, and people are like, well, why do I need to watch this YouTube video when I can just go into ChatGPT myself and just ask ChatGPT questions and get curated responses to my questions? Then I don't have to worry about um, putting out all this, because there's not enough time to consume. It's just like my email box. There's not enough time to consume all of the emails that are in my email box. I don't have the time for it. It's like, I don't want to, like, I can't watch all the videos that are out there. I only have 24 hours in a day, and I only have so many hours where I'm attentive and where I can respond to it. But what she was saying is that because there's such an enormous amount of channels now that are coming out that are faceless, that that are polished, that they can create video on demand and all that. If you just turn on your camera on your phone, or you use your webcam on your desktop or your phone on your smartphone, if you just talk into your camera, YouTube will put that stuff out. Is putting that stuff out now front and center, because people join other people. People want to see that you're on the journey. You're not just some anonymous person. That you are a real person who is passionate about the content that you're talking about. I'm really passionate about travel. I could geek out about talking about travel and about saving money on travel and where to stay and how to live abroad. Like, for example, I knew when I was over in Thailand and stationed in Thailand, I was working really late hours working for the U.S. government, and I met this guy, and he only works a few hours a day, and he's living by the beach. He lived in Hua Hin, which is a couple hours away from Bangkok, but he was living at the time. This is 2017, 2018. His apartment was $350 a month, and like 2 or 3 blocks from the beach. But he would get up in the morning, go walk on the beach. He had a couple of clients that he mainly serviced via Zoom, and I'm sure the apartment's a little bit more expensive. Maybe it's not. It's probably about, with inflation, it's probably about $500 US. But I was like saying to him, like, I pay more money for car insurance back home than what you're paying, to live by the beach. I mean, you can't get nothing for $350 a month. You can't. I don't even think you can rent a room. Maybe you can rent a room in some, in some place, but we're talking nice accommodations. Really nice modern accommodations, and meals are only a couple of dollars. And you could live good on Social Security, or if you had a little job that pays a little bit above minimum wage. Now we all want to, like, go for the the big home run, and we want the 6 and 7 figures. But if you could have a 6-figure lifestyle on a beer income, making $20,000 a year, I think that would be worth it. I think it would be worth it to, like, that's the kind of stuff that resonates with me. I get really excited talking about that, because there's a lot of people, and the people who are looking for this information can identify with it. And this is like somebody, like, I have the lived experience. I've seen it with my own eyes, and I'm passionate about it. It's like, there's another way. You don't have to live in the rat race, right? If a lot of people like say, oh, I'll do something when my ship comes in. Well, no, sometimes you just have to just like swim out to the ship because the ship never comes in, and it's like, there's a guy out there, another guy who's got a YouTube channel. His name's Andrew, and a few years ago, Andrew, he's also from Florida. Um, he moved to Malaysia, and he just had his Social Security. He had a condo and Social Security. He had a condo that he rented out, which gave him a little bit of rental income. I think he sold the condo now, but he had that and Social Security. So he was living on about $2,000 a month and living in Malaysia and living well. It's like you're barely making it on $2,000 a month in Florida. You're barely making it. You are doing everything you can to cut costs and cut corners and all that to live. But Andrew in Malaysia, he's living good. He's living well. He's living his best life. And and the healthcare is fantastic. It's affordable, and so he doesn't have I don't even think he has medical insurance. You just pay out of pocket, and you're getting top-notch care at a fraction of what you would pay in the U.S. So I can go on and on but those are the things that I'm passionate about. That's what my channels are going to be about. Is about creating opportunities with travel and living abroad and making money remotely. That's the core of what I'm going to do. Direct mail, if you're a person who does the RVing, if you're in the RV lifestyle, direct mail would be great because as long as you have access to post office, you can mail those postcards or letters anywhere. But if you want to live outside the United States, it's not all that viable. And if like for me, I thought, well, I can only, I'm only planning on living like part-time, half the year overseas and then half the year in the United States, back home. But I just decided, you know what, I'm either all in or I'm all out. So not to say that the postcard or the direct mail businesses don't work. They do. It just wasn't the right business for me at this particular time. Now, that could change in the future. I learned a lot. And again, we're living in this new era where, everything is AI. Another program that I had seen was this guy promoting this, and he's like, I've made a lot of money as a writer, but I make money with a notepad and a pen. He's like, I don't use AI. And he calls ChatGPT crap GPT. And he just writes out his content, and he makes a lot of money as a writer. That's something you can do. You can be anywhere in the world, but the idea is that while everybody is going this way, I think it's better to go the other way. Just like everybody is making money online. There's something to be said about offline ways of making money. Direct mail, even though it's expensive, I do go through and I check all of my mail that comes in the post office, in my house, in my mailbox every single day. I go through what's in my mailbox. Most of my emails never get checked. And the ones that I do check, I only spend a few seconds because I don't have the time for it. And but if somebody's going to pay money to send me a letter, I usually read it. So that's something to be said. But again, these businesses are not for everybody. And if you're not willing to make a full-time commitment, you're wasting money, you're squandering money, and you might as well do something that you are passionate about. And that's the realization that I came to. So I hope this video helps. I will be making some more content here soon. Thanks very much for watching, and take care, and I'll talk to you later. Bye for now.